Hey guys, welcome to Baking and Books. My name is Lexi and I'm an amateur baker who loves to read. So each week I post videos of myself attempting to bake something new while also talking about a book that I have recently read or just really love. Today I'm going to be making some St. Patrick's Day fudge because of course it's pretty much upon us, and I wanted to make something fun and festive for a very green holiday. Green is my favorite color and I'm also Irish, so I had to do something a little bit special. And we're going to be talking about The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. This was a really interesting book, a really interesting thriller, something that I kind of, it was really hard to predict what was going to happen, which I love. I love books like that. I mean, if you're going to write a thriller, I don't want to be able to predict the ending. So I'm excited to get into this a little bit with you guys today. All right, well, let's have some St. Patrick's Day fun and get into a good mystery thriller. Okay, I apologize for the semi-terrible angle, but we have to melt some stuff over here. So right now we're just melting some butter, and I'm going to get into a synopsis. So The Woman in Cabin 10 is about a young woman named Lo. I think her real name is something longer, but they just call her Lo. And she's a journalist at a travel magazine in London, so she gets the opportunity to go on this really fancy, very luxurious cruise because her boss can't go, and she's gonna do all the fancy stuff and then she'll write a piece about it. Now, because of other reasons that I'm not going to get into for spoilers, she's not having a great time right now, so it's not really a great time for her to be doing this, but she knows it's a really good opportunity and she doesn't want to lose it, so she goes anyway. And on the first day there, she knocks on the room next to hers, which is cabin 10, and asks the young woman staying there for mascara. The problem is that the next day, this woman is missing. And nobody believes Lo because nobody else has seen her but Lo. They didn't think there was anybody in cabin 10. Not any of the passengers, not any of the crew, and no matter who she talks to about it, she can't seem to figure out any sort of answers. So it sort of sends her on this rabbit hole journey of trying to figure out where this woman came from and where she is now, and if something sinister happened to her, and of course trying to stay out of trouble herself. It was a pretty wild ride. I was not sure where we were going most of the time, but it was fun to guess. It was fun to it wasn't that kind of mystery that you get annoyed by not knowing where you're going. It's a fun, guessing game, not knowing where you're going. Okay, so from here on out, I'm going to get into more serious stuff. So if you don't want spoilers, then go ahead and skip forward until it says no more spoilers, and you can just see how my fudge turned out without having to have anything ruined for you. If you've already read this book or you just don't care, then stay with me and we'll get deeper into it. Okay, I'm trying to be careful and not burn this. It got a little bit hot on me. I think it was a really nice start, though, to the book because I felt like it made Lo a very sympathetic character. Even though, of course, it's awful to think about somebody getting attacked like that in their own home, it makes our main character automatically sympathetic, and it makes them somebody that I want to root for because I immediately sort of I wouldn't say identify because, thankfully I've never been through something like that, but I would say it's not so much as identify as a sympathy for that person, and makes you much more likely, I think, to root for her from the very beginning. Now, the only thing I would say that wasn't very good in that situation was sort of her whole conversation with her boyfriend and everything that went on there, because I feel like that made her less sympathetic. So it was I was rooting for her, but then all of a sudden it was kind of I want to keep rooting for you, but you're kind of being a dick to your boyfriend. I'm trying to make sure this doesn't burn, because dang. There's not really a lot of space to work with over here. But now I have to bring this to a boil, so I better turn it up. I didn't want to be judgmental of her when she finally got on the ship and got things going, but I really just wanted to scream at her dude, stop drinking. You were already not in a good place because of everything that happened before you got on the boat. Then you get on the boat and you're just drinking consistently. I don't know. I was just you really need to rethink this. I know you're trying to calm your nerves and just fit in with the rest of the crowd, but this is a job. This is a business thing. You should really be thinking through it. And it made it hard because, again, the author had set up this whole thing and made Lo very sympathetic. And then all of a sudden, it's she's doing stuff that's honestly just kind of stupid. Obviously, I wanted to know who was the girl in room 10. I definitely was all about trying to figure that out. And I definitely wanted more information right off the bat. I think the author did a really nice job of grabbing you, and because you kind of knew that's what the mystery was going to be about because of the title of the book. So, you know, the woman in room 10, like, it's not really a surprise that that's what the mystery is going to be about. But the fact that we actually met her and we know she exists, and then all this new information keeps piling on top, is just wild to me. I think, too, the author does a nice job of a little bit build-ups. I'm definitely the kind of person that wants all the answers right away. So the fact that we kept getting little hints about what happened with Lo and Ben and not getting the whole story was definitely driving me crazy, and I wanted to know what happened. But at the same time, I think that that's a really good tactic for an author because it does keep you interested and it makes you want to keep reading the story to find out what happened. But I automatically don't like him. Like, it's part of one of those things where, like, I don't care what happened with them, you know, and I don't care if he's a bad guy or not. There's something about him that I just don't like. I think he had a very condescending attitude. I'm trying to bring this to a low boil, so I'm, like, trying to be careful not to turn the heat up too much and to just, like, give it time to do its thing, but I think we are almost there. Things boiling always makes me nervous because I'm like, they're either going to get burnt or stick to the sides and burnt, or they're going to, like, spill over on me and I'm going to get burnt. I definitely don't trust Cole, though. Like, I just think he's too suave. He's too helpful. He's too nice, and I don't think he has any reason to be. And I feel like that's suspicious. Like, I do think there are people out there who help others and are kind just because they want to be. Obviously, like, I'm not that cynical about the world. But I just think that, I don't know, there's something about Cole's help and his kindness that just seems fake to me. I don't normally like Fudge, but I did like the peanut butter one that I made a while back. Was that peanut butter? What did I make? I don't know. It sounds like me to have made peanut butter kind, so I think that's what we're going to assume we did. It's been a while. But I did like that, so I'm hoping I'll like this. I think at least it'll be fun to make and fun to, like, cut up because it's supposed to be different layered colors, so I think it'll be really cool either way, even if I don't like to eat it. Maybe somebody else will. Look, look, look. We're using our favorite marshmallow fluff. Okay, we're almost done making this smooth, and then we're going to get to start adding food coloring and layering in it. Oh my gosh, and layering it into its dish. Okay, here we are. We are ready to start adding food coloring. I think I'm going to put the light one on the bottom because I can always add more later. The news articles and text messages from her friends and family are really interesting. Like, they're a really cool way to kind of drive the story forward. Because sometimes, you know, they'll say things before anything has actually happened in the story, like, you know, them noticing her going missing and stuff like that. And I think that it's a really cool way to, again, grab your attention and as the reader be like, wait, what is happening? Like, because you're not privy to that information yet. So having the friends and family thing, I just think is a really cool idea. And I really commend the author for that because I think it's neat. All right, this is our first color. You can't really see it that well, but it's going in. It's kind of a thin layer. I feel like I maybe should have done a little bit more in my bowl. Okay, well, now I'll know for the other layers. Oh, I also probably should have sprayed this. Oh, well. Oh, well. I do think it burned a little, but hopefully it's not super, super bad. Honestly, at this point in the story, like, once you get further along, everybody's a suspect, in my opinion. Like, I don't trust anybody. I don't trust Richard. I don't trust Anne. I don't trust Cole or Ben. I don't trust anybody. And I definitely don't trust, like, the head of the guard, whatever his name was. No, I definitely don't trust him. He is definitely out for blood. Like, I just think it's weird that everybody acts like she's totally crazy. And I feel like if people were really trying to help, I don't think they would act that way. And I think the fact that so many of, like, the maids and stuff are being super suspicious and quiet about their suspicions is weird. Like, I think, you know, more people would be more relaxed and willing to talk if they really believed the things that they were saying. And so I don't believe the things they were saying. However, honestly, at some point it does start to drag a little bit. I didn't really put, like, an exact point, but what I did put is that, like, oh, now it's getting a lot more exciting. Like, there just became a time, and I think it's when she's, like, kidnapped, there just became a time when it was just suddenly a lot more exciting. And I think it's just because the mystery started to get old. Like, it just started to get sort of, like, I don't know. Like it was a fun mystery, but it started to drag. And so you know, when she got kidnapped, I was, like, kind of shocked because it definitely took a turn. But I was like, well, hey, you know, that's definitely exciting. Ooh, this is a very different color green. I was using, like, an Eastern neon green. And this is more, like, an actual green, which will be fun. This is the final layer, so this should be fun. But it's just crazy to me, like, the things that people can survive. You know, like, it just, the fact that she's locked down there for days, and the fact that she sort of starts to gain this story little by little from Carrie, and sort of, you know, like, put the pieces together, and she's living without her medication and without really, like, proper food and water, and obviously she's scared and frustrated, and she's living in the dark so much of that time, too. So, like, I just can't imagine how, you know, people are just so resilient, and I think it does, I know I've said this about other books, but it definitely always makes me wonder, like, would I be that way? Like, would I be that resilient? I don't know. I really don't. Okay, I think that's enough food coloring. It's not exactly the green that I was hoping for, but I don't want to use, like, my whole bottle on it. I think it's fine the way it is. It's definitely, like, a fun color. Kind of a different fun color, but it's definitely fun, and it's definitely green, so that's what we were going for. Woo! The bowl is hot. It also makes me wonder, like, the ending is just wild, and it kind of goes from 0 to 60 real quick, but it definitely makes me wonder, like, is Carrie out there somewhere alive, you know? Like, is she out there somewhere having finally, like, escaped all of this? I don't know. Can't decide how I feel about that one, so you'll have to let me know in the comments. If you read the book, let me know what you think. If you know, is Carrie alive or is she not? Alright, so far here is our fudge. You can't really see the layers, but maybe you'll be able to see them more once they cool and we cut them open. I don't know, but into the fridge it goes. Okay, if you left because of spoilers, go ahead and come back and join us. Our fudge was layered together and went in the fridge for about an hour, and so here it is. It's kind of hard to see the different colors, but it is layered with 3 different colors of the fudge mixture. So hopefully when we cut into it and put out the little squares, you'll be able to see it. Okay, I have a feeling I got them out of the fridge too soon. They definitely are not hard little pieces of fudge. It definitely came out in, like, a clump. Hold on, I'll show you. Okay, well, in my defense, it is, like, various forms of green, so maybe that's a plus. The pan was definitely warm when it went in there, and it's actually still a little warm on the bottom, so maybe it's just, it hasn't been in the fridge long enough. It said an hour on the recipe, and it has been an hour, so I followed directions, but maybe it just needs a little bit longer. I'm going to go ahead and taste it because I want to. Ooh, it's really good. You know what it is? And maybe I said this on my last fudge video, so sorry if I'm repeating myself. I think what it is it's very rich. And typically I'm a big sweets person. I love sweets. But there's something about the fudge that just, like, is sometimes too rich for me. But I mean, this is good. Like, I could have this one piece, and by piece I mean gloop, and be okay on sweets for, like, at least a couple days. But I do think it needs to go back into the fridge, so it's going to go back into the fridge. But I'm going to go ahead and rank it, just because I'm not a fudge expert anyway, so there you go. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. I would say I like the colors. Like, even in gloop form, it's really kind of fun to have different swirls of green. It's very St. Patrick's Day fun, and I think that that really makes it a lot of fun, and it was really cool to get to layer it, to get to do those 3 different colors and layer them on top of each other like that. I think that was really fun, and I really enjoy that. Now, you can also put sprinkles or little decorations on the top of yours. I'm not a huge fan of stuff like that, so I didn't. I just wanted to make the dessert, and I don't know if I'll get to share these with anybody because we're on spring break at my work right now, and so I'm not really baking for anybody but my fiance and I, so I didn't do that, but you could decorate them. The thing I would change is I would say, I'm guessing my mixture was still too hot when it went into the fridge. So an hour in the fridge just wasn't long enough. Maybe if I had put it in the freezer, it would have been okay after an hour. But since I put it in the fridge, like I was told to do, I think it just didn't cool off enough. Especially because, like I said, right on the bottom in the middle of the pan, it was still warm. Not like hot, but like you could tell that it had at one point been warm. So I think it just needed more time, and maybe after it sets a little bit more, it'll be kind of nice slices that you can take out more like we're accustomed to with fudge. So I would say if I were to do something like this again, I would give it time to cool out on the counter before putting it into the fridge, or I would put it in the freezer for an hour instead. However, I think it's an 8 out of 10 because it does taste good, and I imagine it'll taste the same once it's all set up. I'm guessing really the only difference is that this is gloop, and that will hopefully be little bars rather than gloop. But it's good. and I like it. So I think an 8 out of 10 for sure. If you have other recipes that you want me to try, go ahead and send those my way. I'm always looking for new stuff to make, and I always love taking suggestions. I would definitely recommend this book, especially if you're into more like mystery thrillers. This was a good one. It definitely took a little bit of its time getting to the ending, but not necessarily like a slow burn. More just like bits and pieces of it were quick and interesting, and bits and pieces of it were a little dragged out. So I would give the book maybe like a 4, but out of 5. I don't know why. Well, why would I do out of 10 for my baking and out of 5 for the book? I feel like it's just easier for books to do 1 out of 5. And I know this is new. I'm just deciding this right now. But I'd say a 4 out of 5. It was good. It was definitely something I would recommend. I wouldn't put it on like my top 10 or anything, but I'm glad that I read it. And I would suggest reading it if you're into murder mystery thrillers, because it was definitely a fun time. If you have other book recommendations that you want me to try, go ahead and throw those my way as well. We are getting towards the end of our series of Unfortunate Events books. Actually, I realize we're just in the middle of those, but they're pretty quick reads, so it just feels like it's going a lot faster. But I'm excited about the books that I have planned in the future, and I'm always looking for more recommendations. If you had fun today, please like and subscribe. It's always a little bit of fun and a little bit of a hot mess, and I try really hard to be here for you every week so that you can enjoy my ridiculousness. Thank you to those of you that watch every week. You guys are the absolute best. I'll see you next time.